Hi, welcome back, third grade readers. Hope you're doing wonderful. I wanted to jump on so we could have our next reading workshop lesson. That is our 16th one, and it's on our nonfiction reading. So readers, just to recap, yesterday we took a look back at our subtopic charts, and we chose one of those items that we wanted to learn a little bit more about because we're working on becoming that expert on a certain topic that we're studying. And once we picked that item, and in class, we chose to do it on frog food. After we chose that, then we listed a couple questions that we're wondering about that topic. And then we went into our text, at least 3 of them, if not more, to try and find that information to answer those questions. And one question we had was, what do they eat? And after reading the 3 books, we have several things that we were able to list of what they ate and then also how they get their food. Well, today we are going to go back yet again to our mini little table of contents that we developed of all the things that we're wanting to know. And we're going to look at these subtopics and we're going to choose another one, and we're going to explore a little deeper on one of these topics. So today's lesson for our reading workshop is going to focus on this. We are going to study the pictures. So we've been working a little bit on that. And let's bring it back. The text features, okay, as we study one of our subtopics of interest. Also, taking note that we need to note down any of the vocab that we see on these pages. Those bold-faced words, that's always the important information that we need to share with ourselves and others as well, okay? So here's what we're going to do today. I am going to select a new topic from my subcategories. And today I want to dig a little deeper on baby frogs. And I want to learn more about that. So I'm going to grab one of my books that's on frogs, and I'm going to look in the table of contents. And I'm going to see what section they have on baby frogs. And this one is listed frog babies. So it's not exactly the words I was looking for. I was looking for baby frogs, but look, it's very similar, right? They just reversed it. So that has to be what I'm looking for. So I'm going to turn to page 24 in the book, and it's about frog babies. Okay, and this section actually goes to 2 pages. So there's some great information on frog babies. So I would, of course, take the time to read these sections over. So I would read about them. I would learn more about the frog babies. But today's main focus is, after you read about it, is to study the pictures, because we know we're going to learn a lot of cool facts by digging deeper into the pictures. But remember, readers, when it comes to informational text, lessons ago, we talked about text features. We know too that in our informational book, the author will use text features. They'll use some bold meanings. They will also have different charts where our informational text looks a little different than, remember, a chapter book. They might have little boxes. They're going to have labels on certain pictures. So we're going to want to study not only the pictures, but looking for all of these different text features throughout the book in that subcategory that we're studying on, okay? So let me get started. My subcategory are baby frogs, and I'm learning that tadpoles are baby frogs, but they don't look like frogs yet. Tadpoles have tails, and they live only in water. All right, so I read that over, taking a look at this picture. I'm really examining what's taking place here, and I'm noticing this text feature is a label of a type of tadpole that is. Okay, tadpoles grow up to be frogs. Now I'm noticing that now my information is put into these boxes with a 1, 2, 3, and 4. So while I'm reading, I'm going to look this over, and I'm going to think, how do I want to share this information? I'm going to be taking notes here, but I'm thinking back to all the different types of charts and ways that we took notes together before, and I'm thinking back to those different circle diagrams that we've done, and I'm seeing kind of like a comparison here that, they're blocking it into kind of bubbles, and I might do something like that too. Also, I want to be aware of any bold-faced words, new vocab words, that maybe I need to look back then. Where would I find those words? What's that place called? Yes, the glossary, to find the definition of those words. Okay, so this says, 1, at first they breathe underwater with gills. All right. 2, they grow lungs for breathing air. 3, they grow legs for hopping and swimming. 4, in 3 months, they lose their tails. It's time to hop out of the water. All right, so these are all important facts. Now I'm going to dig deeper and really study my pictures. So I'm noticing that they're pointing to these gills. Well, I'm kind of thinking that gills might be a really important vocab word. That might be a bold-faced word that I'm going to want to share with others. If I look down here, I see that it has the word gills, and it gives a definition. This is a text feature, and it says body parts on the sides of a fish or a tadpole through which it breathes. That tells me this is a really important fact, and I need to include that on my notes. Then I'm going to explore this picture. I'm going to dig a little deeper and look at all of these pictures and see if there's other good details that I can pull from here. Okay, so now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take some notes just from this book. I still have my 2 other books I need to look through, but I'm going to start taking my notes. And I'm going to label the top of my note page frog babies, because that was my subtopic. Yesterday was the life cycle, and today is the babies. So I'm going to draw that diagram where it has the bubble with the arrow and the next bubble and goes over. And I'm going to list these just like they did here, first, second, third, fourth, because this is something of importance that takes you through the steps of a tadpole. So I went ahead to save some time, and I did that before I joined on here. And now you can see mine. So I have the first step, which I have here, they breathe underwater, and I did put a little note here, gills. Then after, the second thing that happens is they grow the lungs to breathe air. Third bubble in my diagram, they grow legs to then hop and swim. And then finally, and I put that they lose their tails and then they hop out of the water. So you do not have to use this type of diagram. If you go back to one of your student charts, you have that text feature page that has, I'd say, 5 to 6 different ways that you can log important information. But this is the one that fit my topic the best. All right, also, I wanted to take note in my reading notebook, which is on here, about the definition, the key word gills. That was a bold-faced word. So I wrote down that word gills, and then I wrote down that definition. And the definition in this book said the body parts on the side of a fish or tadpole through which it breathes. Okay. All right, so I feel confident that I took as much information as I could from this book. So now it's time for me to move on to my next book that's on frogs. And I'll go to the table of contents and look up something dealing with baby frogs, or maybe now that we know the word for baby frogs is tadpoles. I'm going to look in here in the table of contents. Let's see if you find that as well. What page would we be jumping onto? Yes, right here, 14. So 14 is titled Teeny Tiny Tadpoles. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read through these pages. But then remember, our focus for today is to focus in on these pictures and reading the text features. So for this picture, a text feature is having the caption underneath. That's going to be an important thing we'll want to look at. And we'll be studying this picture. Also another text feature. Look right here. Bold-faced word, gills, yet again in our other book. Now, they don't give the definition in the little corner. So for this time, I will want to go to the glossary and look up the word gills and see if they're adding anything different in that definition. And when I read over this definition, the only main difference that I did catch was they added it takes oxygen from the water. So that's what the gills also help them in doing. So I added that as my note here. Okay, so this is just another way for us to gather information and include all these fun facts so that we're developing and putting together all these ideas so that we're ready to share them with others. So your job today is to pick another subtopic category, look that up, research it in your different books that you have. In your reading notebook or just a piece of paper like what I used, start taking notes. You could do sketches, you could do drawings. This time I ended up using one of our diagrams like here. Take time to write down any of the vocab words that you find, and that's what I want you to work on. So today, if you want to just dig into one subcategory that you have, or if you have time to do two, go ahead and do that, but really focus on the text features and the pictures. Okay, readers, I hope it goes great for you today, and I'm super proud of you, miss all of you, and I'll see you soon.